let us begin by reciting our prayers. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Niravishesha Shunyavadi Pastyachade Jatarane Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchikalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So devotees, welcome to our third session in our Disciples, ISKCON Disciples course, and I hope you're finding it okay, and sort of digestible, and what I'm presenting is not too complicated or anything of that sort. So what we're going to do, it's more or less 6:30 South African time. So we'll go at least till 7:30, just with me making my presentation. Then we'll take questions. We already got some questions left over from yesterday, but there'll be some time for some more questions if anyone wants to ask this evening. And then we'll hand you over to Bhakti Rasa Devi Dasi for the administrative matters. So we are devotees. We're right in the beginning. We're on what page is it? 41, which is like the index for Unit 3. And the general sort of theme is acting in relationship with the Guru. In other words, now you've got a guru, particularly a Diksha guru. I mean, Siksha guru also is quite possible and just fine. But, up till now, we were more talking about coming to the actual point where you have a guru and where you get initiated. So we're pretty much going on in Unit 3 from that point, that now you have a guru. So now what do you do in your relationship with your spiritual master and with Prabhupada for that matter, who's our preeminent Siksha guru. So, okay, we begin with Lesson 8, which is titled here, it says Guru Puja. Let's go, it is Guru Puja. Let's go over to page 42. And, well, it says there in the little box, at the top it says regular worship of Srila Prabhupada, then the importance of Guru Puja. This manual, although it's got so much excellent information, it is really good. But it's also a work in progress. So this regular worship of Srila Prabhupada, I don't know. It doesn't seem, other than just the little heading at the top, you see that the first subject which is discussed is the importance of Guru Puja. Anyway, it's a bit of a work in progress, this manual. So the importance of Guru Puja in general, just like in principle. Guru Puja, of course, means the worship of the Guru. And we see there's quotes. I can see, the first two quotes in particular. The very first quote is from Gauravastakam, which we sing at Mangal Arati. It's the second to last verse. The importance of Guru Puja, just in principle, is that, we already discussed the subject actually earlier, but the spiritual master is honored like the Supreme Lord, or as much as, because he's the most confidential servitor of the Lord. And then the next quote is a famous quote. It's from Caitanya Charitamrita, as you can see there. And it's Lord Shiva speaking to Durga, my dear Devi, although the Vedas recommend worship of demigods, the worship of Lord Vishnu is topmost. However, above the worship of Lord Vishnu is the rendering of service to Vaishnavas, who are related to Lord Vishnu. And the Guru, when you've got a Guru, like you're actually initiated particularly, then the Guru is the main one of the Vaishnavas. So when it says, above the worship of Lord Vishnu is the rendering of service to the Vaishnavas, rendering service to the Guru is the main point there, because he's the main Vaishnav. And the next one, the third one, it's a really good verse, and it's a fantastic verse. It's also, you can see it's quoted from Caitanya Charitamrita, from right at the same place as Lord Shiva's verse just above it. So Lord Krishna is saying to Arjuna, those who are my direct devotees are actually not my devotees, but those who are devotees of my devotee or devotees are factually my devotees. Yeah. And I don't know did I mention it to you yesterday? I think I did. Lord Krishna in the 11th canto to Uddhava, Mad Bhakta Pujyadika, I don't know if you remember that, that Jiva Goswami translates just that line, that service to the devotees is a more effective way of developing love for Krishna than trying to develop love for Krishna. In other words, the devotees, we must not underestimate the devotees, and particularly the Guru, who is the main one amongst the devotees, and ultimately, particularly Srila Prabhupada. Right. So then you see the next little quote there, the fourth one, it is not self-aggrandizement, it's real teaching. So Prabhupada is saying that the Guru Puja, we do Guru Puja in our temples at least. We do every day, generally. It's teaching. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya. What is it now? Guru Mukha Padma Vakya. Chitte te Korea Aikya. Yeah, so we should make the words coming from the lotus mouth of the Guru one, Chitte te Korea Aikya, one with our hearts or our consciousness. And Prabhupada makes such an important point. It is important. He says, I tell you frankly, whatever little success is there in this Krishna consciousness movement, I simply believed what was spoken by my Guru Maharaj. You also continue that. Then every success will come. Isn't it amazing? Prabhupada attributed his amazing success, incredible success, to him not being a big dynamic scholar, preacher, expert, although he was incredibly expert, but he attributed it to his steadfastness as a disciple of his spiritual master. And so anyway, that's something to bear in mind. So, okay, so that's something about the importance of Guru Puja, worshipping the spiritual master. The next point in the little box at the top there is the formal worship of ISKCON gurus. Now that's something very important, and it begins at the top of page 43. And there's a whole lot of points there. What is it, like 5 or 6? Or anyway, there's a whole lot of points. Let's have a quick look at all of them. And if you look there, you'll see on the right, under each quote, these are ISKCON laws. They're not exactly directly from scripture. So, okay, pranam mantras. I assume you all know what a pranam mantra is. Just for the sake of reminding you, perhaps, let me just make it clear. Srila Prabhupada has 2 pranam mantras. The first one is Nama'am Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namane. And the second is Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarane. You know, you all know those mantras. You must know those mantras. I'm really sure you do. So now this is in the context. What's written there at the top of page 43? In the context of when you have your Diksha Guru, when you are initiated, or if not initiated, you have been accepted as an aspiring disciple, and you're in the process leading up to being initiated in a while. So then, like for example, when you enter the temple room, when we enter the temple room, we don't just walk in and just sort of walk around, but we walk in and we bow down and offer obeisances. And generally what we do, particularly for devotees like in your positions, first, as stated here, you chant the pranam mantra of your Diksha Guru. Whoever that is. Maybe your Diksha Guru has 2 pranam mantras. In many cases, that's there. So you can chant either just the first one or both of them, but then the rule is that all of you should chant at least the first of Prabhupada's pranam mantras while you bow down, at the different times when you may bow down. Particularly, though, what comes to mind, as I mentioned, is when you enter the temple room or when you leave the temple room. Generally, this is the practice. So then, next one, offering arati. Now, this is, this is really more for those who are getting second initiation, because then you perform arati in the temple. If you're only getting first initiation, then it's not likely, I think, generally in all our temples, the actual deity worship on the altar is done by second initiated devotees. But anyway, just for the record, whenever you do arati in the temple or a temple-related function, then, as it says, the pujari, that's you, can keep a small picture of your Diksha Guru just near or by the like the altar next to Prabhupada's picture, or on a separate little table near the altar, near where Prabhupada's picture is, like that. And important point, the picture of the Diksha Guru should be smaller than the picture of Prabhupada on the altar. And then when you've finished the arati, you take the picture of your Diksha Guru away. Okay, so then Guru Puja for current ISKCON Diksha Gurus. So the point here is that it is possible in ISKCON temples. You all know we have Guru Puja to Prabhupada, like in Chatsworth, in Phoenix, in Lenasia, etc., etc. We have Guru Puja to Prabhupada. Now, it is possible for disciples of current ISKCON gurus to offer Guru Puja to their guru, but somewhere other than the temple room. Other than Srila Prabhupada, Guru Puja is not offered to ISKCON gurus in the temple room, other than on their Vyasa Puja day. I mean, I hope you got that. So the temple is meant to facilitate that. Then, okay, next one, and this is one you should take note of, it's relevant to all of you, that no gurus and just no one should be addressed publicly or referred to publicly, like, for example, in the Sunday program, with the title, His Divine Grace, other than Srila Prabhupada. Yeah. Or be addressed publicly, or it says privately, by honorifics ending in pada or deva. Like deva, there's a title, Acharya Dev. There's one ISKCON guru, he has that title. And there's a few pads. Tirthapad. Those are honorifics. But disciples can address their Diksha or Siksha gurus personally as Guru Dev or Guru Maharaj when interacting personally. Yeah. But in a public situation like a Sunday program, and don't mind me using myself as an example, but next Sunday I'm doing the Sunday program in Lenasia. So as a sannyasi, I should be introduced to the crowd as the title for a sannyasi, which is used publicly, is His Holiness. And for the householders and devotees who are not sannyasis, His Grace or Her Grace. Yeah. His Holiness Bhakti Caitanya Swami. That's the correct mode of address to the public. All right, and next one, welcoming Vaishnavas. This is, when a devotee, like a guru, comes to visit a temple, specifically a temple. If it's to your home, it's a different thing. It can be a different thing. So events for welcoming Vaishnavas, including gurus, in ISKCON temples should be modest, offering a sitting place, a little prasadam, something to drink, a garland, like that. So then we go on to things to do with Vyasa Pujas. This is very important. So Vyasa Puja for ISKCON current Diksha and Siksha Gurus. This can be done on or about the day of the actual, the appearance day or birthday of the Guru, can be done in the temple room. Yeah. And, it can be done nicely as a festival. But an important point to note is that really it is in good taste that the whole ceremony and, all whatever's done, it's best if it's less elaborate than Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja. Yeah. And Vyasa Puja books are meant to be published only for Prabhupada. And so now I'm at the top of the next page, 44, and this is a good one. It's considered a violation of Vaishnava etiquette for disciples to request the spiritual masters, god brothers, or god sisters to write offerings for or offer praise during, or even really to participate in a Vyasa Puja ceremony for their spiritual master. It's sort of a question of taste. It's just not the right thing to do. Vyasa Puja is for the disciples to make presentations to their spiritual master. And then the next point there, Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja and Tirabhava Titi means his disappearance day. His appearance, Vyasa Puja, and disappearance day. So we should celebrate those 2 days as the main Vyasa Puja or disappearance day ceremony in ISKCON. And all ISKCON members, at least it's very good, and I know in South Africa we try and do it. We do it pretty much. Everyone should write a Vyasa Puja offering to Prabhupada. Okay, so now, devotees, here are a few additional quotations. They're good. They're really good. They're really good. So the first one, honor the picture of the Guru. And this is Prabhupada in a letter. And it's a really important point in principle. There's no difference between me and my picture. There's no difference between the Guru in person and the picture of the Guru. So therefore we should honor and keep the pictures in that spirit. Don't throw them around, and definitely don't throw them away, or, let them come on the ground or that sort of thing. Prabhupada says that is offense. The name and picture are as good as the person in the spiritual world. So, devotees, when you're in ISKCON, you're in the spiritual world. We already discussed Vyasa Pujas, so we don't really need to read through that one again. Spiritual Master's appearance day is worshipped as Vyasa Puja. Vyasa Puja, just, in case you're not aware, it means, literally Vyasa Puja means the worship of Vyas, or Vyasadeva, but the spiritual master is taken to be the representative of Vyasadeva, and therefore his appearance day is called Vyasa Puja and not Guru Puja. And then there's a whole pretty big quotation, not a single one of the jewels or contribution the Viceroy could touch. The point is that the spiritual master this is addressing the Vyasa Puja day, Prabhupada speaking 72. But in general, the spiritual master is honored and sometimes given contributions on behalf of the Lord, not just like personal things. And Prabhupada gives the example that previously, when the British were ruling India, there was a viceroy who was the king or queen's representative for the whole country of India. And he would have to go and participate in different meetings and things, like very, very regularly. And people would present all sorts of things, like gifts. But the rule was, the law was that they're not his. They have to be passed on to the king or the queen. So the viceroy would accept on behalf and then pass it on. And so, everything to do with the guru is like that, basically. At least so much. He's honored on behalf of the Lord. Yes. So Prabhupada says there at the end of that quote, so as the spiritual master is teacher of the student, he has to teach the disciple how to send back his respect and contribution to God. I could tell you an interesting little story. Listen to this one. When Prabhupada visited Japan for the first time, one of the days while he was there, it was his Vyasa Puja day. And he told the devotees, okay, let's do it. But the devotees didn't know how to do it. And so it was just sort of messed up. And Prabhupada was really dissatisfied. And Prabhupada said, all right, tomorrow we will do it again. But all of you, Prabhupada said, all of you must write an offering, means to him. You must write an offering, and you must do this, and you must do that. You must cook a feast, and you must offer arati, all these things. And then, so the next day, he supervised them doing it to him on the spot. And it's not like, he's enjoying being glorified. It's for their benefit, because the disciples have to know how to conduct a proper Vyasa Puja ceremony for their spiritual master. Okay, so let's move on. There's nothing on page 45. 46, lesson 9. There are 11 lessons in this part. There are 4 parts. There's not 11. There's 8, 9, 10, and 11. There's 4 lessons in this particular unit, Unit 3. So, okay, here we are, Lesson 9, Guru Seva. And in the little box there it says qualifications of a disciple, then Guru Seva and service to ISKCON, and then meeting obligations in a balanced manner. Now, the first one, the qualifications of a disciple. Anyway, like I said, this manual, it's a work in progress. There are some things, we'll see some things, but the first point which is discussed is Seva, Guru Seva, and ISKCON Seva. And the first thing there, you see Sevaya. Prabhupada says, just like if you purchase something, you must pay for it. Therefore, it's called Sevaya. You cannot pay by returning the value which is taught by the spiritual master. Do you get that? You cannot, it's not possible to repay the gifts, transcendental gifts of Krishna consciousness, which your spiritual master is giving you. It's not possible. Therefore, it's called sevaya. Dedicate your life for his service. You cannot pay. The value of what you're given by the spiritual master is so great that all you can do is dedicate your life for his service. That's all. And even that will not be enough. So Prabhupada says, what you have got to pay to a spiritual master. All right, so then Guru Seva and service to ISKCON. Guru Seva and ISKCON Seva is the idea. Two types of Seva. So let's go on. There's these things here. You're meant to write some things. Anyway, I'm not sure about that, but we're going on to page 47, meeting obligations in a balanced manner. Let's see. Okay. So here we have an obligation at the bottom of what is at page 47. The duty of the disciple is to carry out the order. That's what it means. The duty of the disciple is to carry out the order, to spread Lord Chaitanya's message all over the world. So Prabhupada is making that point. As devotees of Lord Chaitanya, we have to preach every town and village. That will satisfy the Lord and the spiritual master too. The order is coming through disciplic succession, parampara, and the spiritual master gives these orders to the disciple so that the disciple can spread the message of Lord Chaitanya. It is the duty of every disciple to carry out the order of the bona fide spiritual master and spread Lord Chaitanya's message all over the world. And, okay, on to page 48. These are some quotes here about Guru Seva. First of all, you see at the top of the page, very famous verse, Bhagavad Gita 4:34, about how to deal with the spiritual master. There are two things, Guru Seva, inquire from the Guru submissively, and render service to him. Yeah. And then the next one, if there's no surrendering, there's no advancement. Yeah. What do they say? No pain, no gain. So it's not really painful to surrender to the spiritual master. Generally, it's really nice. But surrender means we have to do what we're told, not just what we want. If the spiritual master asks, or even like the temple, the yatra authorities, we want you to do such and such service, we should do it. Unless there's some, sort of really major obstacle there, we should accept it. Yes. And Prabhupada says, if that thing is lacking, the surrender, the willingness to render service as requested, if that thing is lacking, there's no beginning even. What to speak of advancement in Krishna consciousness. Yeah. So the word is still there. The word is called disciple. Disciple means who accepts discipline. If there's no discipline, where is disciple? That's good, isn't it? So then the next one, it's from Caitanya Charitamrita. The principle of very rigidly carrying out the order of the spiritual master must be observed. The spiritual master gives different orders to different people. Lord Chaitanya ordered Jiva Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami to preach. And he ordered Raghunath Das Goswami to do something different, to strictly follow the rules and regulations of the renounced order. So, this is the principle for progress in devotional service. After receiving an order from the spiritual master, one must strictly try to execute the order. That is the way of success. And otherwise, the next one, if you give up the regulative principles, just live, whatever way you want. It's compared to a mad elephant, which uproots the Bhakti lata and breaks it to pieces. In this way, the Bhakti lata shrivels up. And so how might this happen? Such an offense is especially created when the disciple disobeys the instructions of the spiritual master. This is called Guru Avagya. So we must not do that. This is all in the context, of course, of Guru Seva. And the last quote there from Srimad Bhagavatam, that after being initiated and receiving orders from the spiritual master, the disciple should unhesitatingly think about the instructions or orders of the Guru, and not allow himself to be disturbed by anything else. Disciples shouldn't even think, am I going back to Godhead? His first business should be simply execute the order. So therefore a disciple should meditate on the order of the spiritual master. And an important point is that, there are 2 points, like chanting 16 rounds a day. Prabhupada has given that order to all of us, including all of you. It is an order from the spiritual master, meaning Srila Prabhupada as the supreme Siksha Guru. Otherwise, orders from the living spiritual master, the Diksha Guru, you can always ask, what would you like me to do? Yes. And then in that way you can get an order, and then you can really focus on that. On to page 49, and it's still, quotes in regard to lesson 9, Guru Seva. And disciple, the word disciple is related to the word discipline. So Prabhupada says to accept a spiritual master means to voluntarily agree to abide by the rules and regulations given by the spiritual master. This is what being a disciple means. To voluntarily agree, yes, sir, whatever you say, I accept. That's what you're all getting into now, devotees. I hope you understand this. You're not just getting a nice new name and a nice new set of beads. You are becoming a servant. And the next quote, we should take shelter of the spiritual master, be initiated, and serve the spiritual master with heart and soul. Yes. And the next one, stick to the principle of following the words of the spiritual master. And then, interesting point, see this, it's the second to last one on page 49. When you are helping my missionary activities, that is real association. When you're serving, not when you're just in the physical presence. That's also association, but it's not that. It's not the main type of association to be in the physical presence. That's vapu association. which we'll talk about in a couple of minutes. But the main association is Vani association. Association via the instructions. And this is a nice one, the last one on page 49. The spiritual master is present wherever his sincere disciple is trying to serve his instructions. This is possible by the mercy of Krishna. In your attempts to serve me, and in all your sincere devotional sentiments, I am with you, as my Guru Maharaj is with me. Remember this always. I mean, that is deep. Okay, now lesson 10, Guru Vapu and Vani Seva. Guru Vapu and Vani Seva. So these are two forms of Guru Seva. Seva meaning service. These are two types of service to the Guru. Anyway, let's just go through. So first point, you see in the two little boxes, in black boxes, Vapu, physical body, Vani instructions. This is important. This is just really important. So Vapu Seva means to serve the physical body of the Guru. And you can do that by providing prasadam, for example, by washing the clothes, and things, that sort of personal service, cooking for the spiritual master. Vani Seva Vani means the instructions. So it means you get instructions like chant 16 rounds, and you do it. That is Vani Seva. That's an instruction we've all been given already, and to carry it out, that's Vani Seva. And then, anyway, there's a nice little quote there from Caitanya Charitamrita, that just a moment's association with a pure devotee is so wonderful. You can attain all success by it. So, okay, on to the next little subheading. Behaving appropriately in the presence of the Guru. Now, anyway, so here is a whole, look at this. Look at this, it's a whole list. I mean, I don't think it's 20, but it's pretty close to 20. Rules of etiquette for a disciple from Hari Bhakti Vilas, which is by Sanatana Goswami. Some of these, anyway, let's go through them and I'll make comments as we go. So you should fall down like an uprooted tree on seeing the spiritual master. I mean, at the very least, you are meant to offer obeisances, bow down on the ground any time you see the spiritual master. It's generally referring to the Diksha Guru, or if you have a Siksha Guru who's really like a guru figure to you. You should offer obeisances to a sannyasi who is not your guru the first time that you see them in the day. But your guru, you should offer obeisances every time you see him. And at least with sannyasis, Prabhupada did say on a number of occasions, if you see a sannyasi for the first time in the day, whatever time it is, but you do not offer obeisances, you should fast for the whole day. Then when the Guru approaches, you should face him, and when he leaves, you should follow him. Yeah. I mean, that's not one of the big ones. We shouldn't leave the spiritual master's presence without asking permission. That's also, it's not really one of the big ones. Like, can you imagine if there's like a general darshan, the spiritual master is having a meeting with disciples. Like I had a meeting on Sunday, a week ago, in Cape Town with my disciples, and there was, however many there, 20 or 25 or something. And if someone had to get up and go and do something, and they had to ask me for permission, it would be a disruption. But if you are personally with the spiritual master on your own, then this could apply. Then, of course, you shouldn't utter the spiritual master's name inattentively, always with respect. You shouldn't imitate the spiritual master. I remember when Prabhupada was present, so many devotees would imitate the way he spoke. I mean, yeah, really. Because he had his way of speaking, his accented speaking and like that. But we shouldn't imitate. And then obviously we should always hold the Guru's words in great respect. If you're punished by the spiritual master, if the spiritual master chastises you, don't take it like, don't get upset. Be thankful. Prabhupada was chastised once. I mean, at least Prabhupada talked. He told his disciples how he was chastised once by his guru. Prabhupada was in a class of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. He was sitting at the back, Prabhupada, and sitting next to him was an elderly devotee who had bad hearing. And so every now and then he would ask Prabhupada, what did he say? And Prabhupada would tell him what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, he became aware that this, sort of little side conversation was sometimes going on in the back. And he really didn't like it. So he stopped the class and he said to Prabhupada that Babu, which is, a way of addressing a householder in India, Babu, would you like to come and sit here and speak? I mean, can you imagine? In front of many, there's probably between 50 and 100 devotees, or I don't know, maybe more even. But there's definitely plenty in front of them all. Would you like to give the class? So, and Prabhupada didn't try to explain that, well, I'm just trying to help the devotee because he can't hear you. Prabhupada just took it. And later, afterwards, Prabhupada told the devotees he would remember that happening, that incident. And Prabhupada said he treasured that moment because he felt, I got mercy. I got correction from my spiritual master. So anyway, the disciple shouldn't hear criticism of the Guru or the scriptures or the Lord. If that happens, just leave. Shouldn't step on the Guru's things, even it says on his shadow. Sure. Shouldn't spread his legs before the Guru or yawn, laugh, or certainly not make disrespectful noises. Shouldn't sit on the seat or the bed of the spiritual master. Shouldn't worship others in preference to the spiritual master. And shouldn't give diksha, should not give initiation. Means while the spiritual master's still living, he should, if someone approaches the disciple and asks for initiation, the disciple should just refer them to the Guru, or give scriptural explanations, or try to show superiority, sort of be smart in front of the Guru, and shouldn't give orders to the Guru, but always obey him. And treat the spiritual master with similar respect. In this case, means Prabhupada, but you can even offer him greater respect. Oh, that would be very good. And then there's something about if the spiritual master is married, has a wife, son, or relatives, which, it's not really relevant. All right, so let's see what's next. Okay, now here is discussion on Vapu Seva, serving the physical body of the spiritual master. And this is from Srimad Bhagavatam. So Prabhupada, well, actually, it's from purport. Well, actually, I'm not sure. Anyway, let's just read it. I'm not sure if it's a purport or if it's an actual verse. I mean, it doesn't say it's a purport, so maybe it's an actual verse. The words Guru Shushrushaya mean that one should personally serve the spiritual master by giving him bodily comforts, helping him in bathing, dressing, sleeping, eating, and so on. This is called Guru Shushrushana. A disciple should serve the spiritual master as a menial servant, and whatever he has in his possession should be dedicated to the spiritual master. And the next one, well, yeah, anyway. However the spiritual master treats you, you should take it and accept it as mercy. I think that's the basic idea. I mean, in this context, in the context of our seminar. So then, spiritual master's children, wife, relatives, disciples should offer the same respectful treatment. Yes, well, anyway. I mean, Prabhupada did not expect that. Yeah, he didn't expect that. That his disciples offered the respect they offered him to his wife and his children. I mean, his one son was nice. He was a devotee, to some degree a devotee. But we didn't treat him like we treated Prabhupada. It would not have been appropriate at all. So, the family members of the spiritual master, sometimes you may be with your spiritual master when he meets some of his material family members. It's possible. And of course the family members, they don't treat him like a spiritual master. So the point there is that you shouldn't let it affect your attitude towards your spiritual master. Next one is a good one. We should respect our spiritual masters, god brothers, and sisters too, as we should respect them as we respect the spiritual master. And, well, the next one there at the bottom of page 51, it's more like just a general one. We should maintain Vaishnava etiquette in all respects with all the devotees and, in general, but particularly, of course, with the spiritual master. we should maintain the etiquette towards him, and that will be very good for us. So let's see now what to do. I'll just look quickly at these two over the page on 52 and the two at the top of the page, inquiring from the Guru. And then I'll finish and we'll look at the questions. So, from the Bhagavatam, and this, 115, I mean, this has to be from a purport or a class. So anyway, those in the audience, you could say, they can put questions to the speaker. Of course they can. But ideally it should not, for devotees, it should not be done in a challenging spirit. Devotees must submit questions with great regard for the speaker and the subject matter. This is recommended in Bhagavad Gita. Submissive, one must learn the subject by submissive oral reception. So therefore the sages in Naimisharanya, in the beginning of the Bhagavatam, addressed the speaker Sutta Goswami with great respect. And the inquiries one makes should pertain to the transcendental science. Generally in classes, at the end of a class, we ask if there are questions, and, oftentimes there are. The questions are meant to be on the subject discussed in the class. Yeah, and not other subject matters. Ideally, this is the normal practice. And certainly not about mundane subjects. Okay, devotees, there you go. Tomorrow we'll continue on from the middle there of page 52, and on we'll go, no problem. And we will finish everything, it's okay. Now, though, right now, I will just open up my email and find the questions. Where? Here they are. Okay, here goes. Okay, there are 5 questions here. And then we'll take some if there are other devotees want to ask sort of new questions. So when you enter the movement, how long should you take shelter of your own guru before getting initiated? We did read yesterday that there's like a rule in ISKCON that from the time the guru accepts you as an aspiring disciple, if I assume you know what that means, that he agrees, all right, I will give you initiation when you're ready. So from that time, the minimum is 6 months, but in many places, it's flexible. In many places, the yatras, the authorities, the ISKCON authorities in that country or whatever place, they set longer times. As I recall in South Africa, the rule is 1 year. And unless there are very special circumstances, you're not going to get initiation before you've been an aspiring disciple for 1 year. And otherwise, it depends. Normally once a year in South Africa, once a year passes, then the devotees are checked, and if they're doing okay, then they're given a recommendation for being initiated, and the next time the guru is having an initiation, which might be right at that time or after a few weeks or something, then they can be initiated. But if someone has been having some difficulty, then they would have to wait longer. Yeah. But generally, at least in South Africa and in many places, you've got to wait at least a year. So we said yesterday there are around 100 gurus within ISKCON. How many are perhaps female gurus? Well, at the moment, there's one, but there's some complications because you know what's happened in ISKCON. ISKCON India, the leaders of ISKCON India, en masse, means a good few hundred of them. The GBC body has passed some years ago, actually, even, I don't know, more than 10 years ago, that ladies can give initiation. But ISKCON India, the leadership there, have objected extremely strongly, and I really mean extremely. And to avoid, like a schism or it's heavy enough anyway, the way they're objecting. But to avoid something even worse, the subject is still under discussion because they have objections. So that's the situation. Otherwise, there is one lady who has been authorized. Yeah, and she's a great soul. She is a good devotee. But things are on hold there. So then the next question is, can a Mataji become a Diksha Guru? The answer is yes. In practical terms in ISKCON, we got to hold on for the time being. So the next question, how important is it to take guidance on Vaishnava etiquette from other devotees when we are new to the movement? I've grown up in the movement and have seen how sometimes new members to the movement are very averse when someone tries to teach or help them to learn, as there are many practices to follow that can be overwhelming to newcomers. Yeah. The thing is that in general, it's better for, of course, we should all preach to visitors, like new people who come to the Sunday program and so on, and people who attend house programs and whatnot. We should preach. But, when you talk about really taking guidance, I'm taking it in the sense of on a regular and ongoing basis. For that, it's generally better to not just ask anyone how to do this or how to do that or how not to do something, but have someone who is the person you regularly turn to when you want clarification on something. Rather than just listening to everyone. Because if you listen to everyone, sooner or later you're going to get contradictory instructions. You definitely are. So like we have, at least amongst my disciples, we have the mentorship program. I'm sure some of you are quite familiar with that, and some of you already have mentors. So at least when devotees become aspiring disciples, at least in my own case, we make it more or less obligatory. You have to have a mentor who will interact with you regularly and give guidance. So, for really new people who just don't know much about what's going on at all, we've got to be very sensitive when it comes to instructing them. You've got to be very sensitive. Because you may think that it's quite normal to do or not do something, but they may not have any idea and they might feel offended. Like if you tell them, it's prasadam time and there's no spoons, Sunday feast, no spoons. So the people, they get a plate of prasadam, some new person, and for him it's like, what? You mean I'm meant to eat with my fingers? So anyway, the person starts eating with his fingers using his left hand. And we don't do that. We use the right hand. But if you then tell the person, particularly if you tell them in a certain way, hey, don't use your left hand. You're not meant to use your left hand. Oh boy, you're going to upset them. So, okay, here's the last question from yesterday. And it's a very good one. Should we get initiated because everyone is doing it, or because it is the right thing to do? Well, let's answer that first. There's another part. You should get initiated when you're ready, because it's the right thing to do. You definitely shouldn't just get initiated because it's sort of the socially acceptable thing to do and you want to be accepted as, as a real devotee as opposed to something other than a real devotee. Right. But you got to be ready. If you're not ready, like before people have been devotees, before they've been practicing, usually at least 6 months or a year, they shouldn't really choose who they're going to be initiated by. They should just worship Prabhupada. And then after some time, after they've done this very course we're doing right now, then technically speaking, only at this time should you really start thinking, okay, who can I be initiated by? Who would I like to be initiated by? All right, now, and there's a second part to this question, which is also a very important one. Should we be 100% sure we're ready to commit to all the vows we have to take before taking them so we don't break them? To be 100% sure about anything is pretty good. But, what my suggestion at least is that you should be able to look back at how you've been practicing Krishna consciousness leading up to this point and see, have I been following those vows nicely? Or has it been a battle in some cases? Or am I comfortable enough following the vows? Like chanting 16 rounds a day. Am I managing okay without it being, like a battle sometimes? Yeah, and the regulative principles. Am I comfortable enough following those vows of the regulative principles? If you've been managing, then, generally in Krishna consciousness, as time goes on, things become better and devotees do make advancement. That's what it's all about. Advancing in Krishna consciousness. So if you've been managing okay, like, without it being a struggle so far, then it should be better. It should become easier as time goes on. So therefore, under those circumstances, we would say, you're basically ready enough. Yeah. Otherwise, you could say, the only time you'll really know that you are definitely ready enough, or you're definitely ready, definitely 100%, would be, I'd say, maybe 5 minutes before you die, or something like that. Yeah. So, but if you've been managing and you're comfortable enough, then you're basically ready enough. Okay, so let's see. Where are we?
Gurudev?
Yeah. Any other questions? Comments?
We've got 7 questions that came through on the chat.
Oh, we got 7 more.
Sure.
Okay.
Are you okay with that?
I am. Are you?
I'm okay. Are the students online fine with that?
15 minutes?
Yes. Are you okay with 15 minutes more? Okay.
All right. Let me go back.
Hare Krishna, yes.
Okay, yeah, read it to me.
Okay, I'm going to read it to you. Okay, Gurudev, I'm going to start with one because you were just chatting about it now, and it is, I am left-handed. What are the rules about this? As I use the left hand to write and chant and eat, and I use the right hand for other activities, including bathroom activities.
Really? You know what Prabhupada encouraged, not as like a rule, was to try to use the right hand. Yeah. I mean, I know a couple of devotees who don't have right hands. So, we don't make an issue of it. But I would say, probably a good idea to try to use the right hand if for no other reason than if devotees see you chanting with your left hand, inevitably devotees are going to make comments, and you'll have to explain it, and they might get a little fussy about it. Yeah. But I understand your point. Yeah. And I would not make an issue of it if I knew that was your situation. Yeah. Okay, what's next?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, is ISKCON law available to all devotees? If so, are we able to access it?
Yeah, ISKCON law is available. It can be downloaded. I don't know, have you Googled it? GBC laws, GBC law book. I've got it on the computer. I could provide it. Yeah. But it's not like it's sort of secret or, only for a certain group of people. So I can provide it if anyone wants. Okay.
Thank you. You can share with me and I can share with the students. The next one is Hare Krishna Maharaj. Coming from typical Hindu homes, it is very difficult to completely let go of demigod worship and realize that Krishna is the end all and be all, even though in principle we understand it. How do we better develop faith in understanding that he is truly the Supreme Personality of Godhead?
Okay, yeah, well, that's a good point. Because I know I used to, not now so much COVID and all that, but pre-COVID, I was visiting people's houses like 3 or 4, 5 times a week. And oftentimes I found, well, not oftentimes, but sometimes, particularly with people who are like real expatriates, means they just came here from India, not those who are born South African. They sometimes have a second altar. But anyway, what to do? Yeah, I mean, it's an important point. By chanting more attentively and by associating with more advanced devotees who can help you to understand the difference between demigod worship and worship of the Lord, and by studying Srila Prabhupada's books, if you've got the Veda base on computer, you need a Windows computer, you can get free of charge all of Prabhupada's books and all of his lectures and things which have been recorded, which is hundreds and hundreds. And then you can do searches on this subject and study what Prabhupada said on this subject. And in this way you'll become more convinced. I mean, you can also discuss it. Well, it's sort of, I made the point. You can discuss it with, you're all in the process of becoming initiated devotees. So you can discuss it with your spiritual master to be and other senior devotees. And in these ways, conviction becomes stronger. We call it feeding the intelligence. We have to feed our bodies to keep them strong, otherwise they'll fall to pieces. If we don't feed our intelligence sufficiently with Krishna consciousness, our consciousness will fall to pieces. I mean, if you're really negligent. If you sort of feed your intelligence to some degree, then you'll sort of be able to carry on. But you won't really be fixed and really strong. Okay, next.
Okay, next question is, should one offer obeisances to a guru in another movement? What is the right behavior in this scenario?
Okay. Generally we wouldn't. We might offer pranams, Hare Krishna. Depends what movement. I mean, if they're not Vaishnavas, if it's like Swami Narayan or something where they're not really Vaishnavas, they're kind of a strange hybrid, then we would just Hare Krishna. That's what I've done, because I met a number of these people through the years, quite a number. So, yeah, better respectfully Hare Krishna like that.
Okay. Okay. Hare Krishna, my question is, what if you cannot fulfill the orders of the spiritual master due to challenges being faced? What do you do?
Okay. Yeah, if you can just go back to him, because he's a person, he understands you, and he's favorable, he appreciates you, and he wants to help you. And if he knows that you tried, you did your best, but for whatever, it could be any of many reasons, you weren't able to fulfill the order, then he may either sort of, amend the order or change the order.
And then the last question that's on here is, my question is, until I become initiated by my Diksha Guru, is it advisable that I take instruction only from him? Or can I take instruction from a Shiksha Guru when my aspiring Guru is not available? Example, my daughter, who is a second initiate, has been advising and instructing me on how to be a disciple. Can I continue this, or should I only take instruction from my aspiring Guru?
You can do this, and not just if it's your daughter. If you've got a Siksha Guru, you can take instruction from them anytime. Yeah.
All right. So those were the questions that came in on the chat. I see Kadrucha Mataji, you've got a question. You have your hand raised.
Hare Krishna, dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you and to all Vaishnava Sangha. I have two questions. First one, you told us that we must address with His Holiness to the sannyasis and with His grace to householders. But many times I heard addressing like Rahasya. What's the meaning of Rahasya? Is this an offensive?
What was
Rahasya.
Rahasya?
Many devotees from here are addressing to teachers, to Acharya with Rahasya. What's the meaning of this?
Rahasya means secret. I mean, yeah, I'm not familiar with that practice. I never heard of it before.
Yes, and the second question is if me and my smallest child, we are not initiated, can we do Mangala Arti and worship our deities from our home, or is not allowed?
No, you can.
Because we are performing like this many years.
No, you
we
can do
have
it.
deities from my husband.
You can do it. You can do it.